Welcome to Rock and Roll Fridays, a podcast on musical encounters
Welcome
and
to Rock
life.
and Roll Fridays, and I'm so happy to have a guest, Yvette Lopez. She is based in Sin City, so she is a author, musician, model, hosts a podcast, does lots of cool stuff, a creative person. So I'm happy to have Yvette on. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
So Vegas, baby, right? Everyone that doesn't live in Vegas is always interested in people that live in Vegas, right? There's always something going on, right?
That's so funny. It's when you live here. I grew up between here and New Mexico. So, and I moved out here when I was 17 on my own. I have family here, but I moved out on my own. And when you have family life here and you live here, it's not as crazy as everybody thinks it is. Like, we're not at the Strip every day. My husband and I go see a show once a month maybe, and then we go out to dinner probably 5 times
you got to work and buy groceries and live your life, right? It's
we're home with our dogs.
So let me ask you what I ask everyone: what attracted you to music? What is it about music? Everyone can do all these things in life, but how did you gravitate towards music?
Well, my father was a musician, and he was the first of 3 sons. And then my uncle Jerry Lopez and him they were put into a group. They were the Lopez brothers, and my dad, I think, was about 4, and he learned to play the guitar. And my dad was self-taught every instrument throughout his life, like in his lifetime. And then my uncle Jerry, so then they had the 3rd brother, Uncle Lenny, and then they all went on tour all the time. They had their own tour bus. They were children.
Right.
And they played with some very, very famous singers, Hispanic singers and artists, and traveled all over doing this, starting at such a young age. So it's in my blood. My uncle Jerry's been up for Latin Grammys, and he's we have a day dedicated to the Lopez family here in Nevada because of what my family has contributed to the music world here in Vegas.
Wow. So you were brought up and saw as a child, it was just part of your life.
Yeah. So we'd always travel. My mom and I would travel to Vegas to watch my dad whenever he'd perform. And then, would travel on a tour bus sometimes with my dad for weeks at a time, which was crazy because I was young and there was a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So I learned to live and party hard because of my father. I remember I was in 6th grade and I had to get ready for school, but I get no sleep because I'm in a bus and there's the bus is rocking. And you smell the weed.
You were living the real life, and then all the kids at school were not knowing what you were doing. So all the stories are true. All the stories are true about rock and roll tours, right?
And it's so hard. I mean, it was so hard to even get through class. I was so tired, hard to learn. I always knew at a young age. Then when I was in 5th grade, it was actually 4th grade, my mother put me in a mariachi group, and I just love mariachi music, and I love the passion that comes from it. And so that was my first taste of being in the music world. Playboy, my life took off with Playboy when I was 19, but I was modeling and acting since I was 16, and then Playboy happened, and then my life just went into a whole direct, where I went where the money was, and I was a lot of fun.
And that got you exposure, obviously, to other opportunities. Like, I think most men and most people think about Playboy as one thing that happens, but it opens up relationships and business opportunities for the models, I assume, right?
Yeah. If you're smart enough, you'll use them. A lot of models don't, which is really sad. But I did. I really used it to my advantage, and was working in Canada with Much Music and Ed the Sock, and doing putting together my own shows for Much Music, and then working out of Mexico City, and just really taking advantage. I could have taken more advantage, if I'm being honest. I was so young. I didn't have any guidance.
Yeah.
I was on my own since I was, so when it happens, you're so young and you don't really know. Just because my father was in the music business doesn't mean he wants his daughter like
Right.
taken or
Right.
secret from him for a while till somebody showed him the magazine at he went to a record store. Somebody's like, "Isn't this your daughter?" And my dad's like, "What the heck?" Yeah. And, but then, so I always had a little fear of going further with it, but I was in 7 issues, and it really did, coming from a small town and coming from dropping out of high school. I had the best time, and the people and the travel and all the things that I got to do in my life.
Yeah,
it was without Playboy, I don't think it would have been possible.
and you also did some dancing. Is that what I read in your bio as well?
Yeah, I was a trained Spanish dancer, folclorico, since I was 3 years old. My mom put me in, and then so I would perform locally in New Mexico for about 10 years.
It's amazing. What a cool what a cool background. I'm when I interview people, I'm always like, this could be a movie,
Yeah.
I see you as a young child in the tour bus, like,
Yeah. It was fucked up.
if the tour bus could talk, right? So
yeah,
let's talk about your music. So one of the things that I took notice, it's a bilingual album. Why did you go that route? And was that just a creative?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about being Latina and our culture and our language. It's very important to me to have that in my life with everything that I do. Even with Playboy, I was in the first Latin issue. So I always knew that when I did do music, and if I ever was going to do music, it had to be a bilingual album, because my first language was English, but I was taught to speak Spanish by I had 8 grandmothers who helped raise me, and I would watch the novelas and always mariachi stuff. And so I learned by hanging out with Grams and stuff, but in the home, they didn't let us speak Spanish because they didn't want us to be picked on speaking Spanish outside of the home. So I just taught myself and singing the mariachi group. So I'm very passionate about it. It's something that even if you hear my sound, I'm releasing another song, whether it's in English or not, it has a Mexican vibe to it, a Latin vibe. I use the accordions, I love Latin brass, I love the guitar, that flamenco sound. So that's all incorporated into all my music.
Is the album, and you're gonna have to correct my Spanish, is it baila?
Baila, dance.
That means dance.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So is that the name of the album, or is that one of the songs?
Yeah. No, it's Baila, the whole album. I have 15 tracks, 15 songs. Every 3 months I will be releasing a new song. It's not like I'm not going to do a full album release. I'm a new artist. Nobody even knew I could sing in my career. I was Playboy and I did hosting and little acting here and there, but nobody knew I could sing. And so, I thought that this would be a great opportunity to show people what I have, hopefully get some fans. And I plan on making my next album next year, probably in Italy, with the same producer, Jens Gad. I worked with Jens Gad and Toby Gad, and Jens Gad is from Enigma, and he's one of the producers and songwriters and creators of Enigma. And then Toby Gad is his brother, they both have written with everyone from Beyonce to, my gosh. And so I was fortunate. They invited me to Berlin. My husband said, she'll be there. A week later, I'm in Berlin for a month. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. Jens and I worked really well together. We had written some songs probably about 12 years ago. We wrote some songs together and never knew what to do with them, but he's like my big brother. And we love hanging out. I love his life. I love the way he's the first person who ever showed me that I could write a song. I never wrote until I met this man. And I don't know, him and I worked so easily. We did a 15-track album in, I want to say, like a week and a half. And with all the recording, it took about a week and a half. We recorded every day. for, probably 5 to 6 hours a day. And
Yeah.
then while I was there, I booked more work, and I went off to Hamburg for a little bit to do some stuff with Playboy there. And but then I got back from the other job, and Jens has the album finished. So my husband flies out, we hear it, and I just couldn't believe it, because honestly, trying to do what I'm trying to do with my sound, nobody really got me until Jens. And when he hears me and he hears my ideas, him and I are able to put it together to where it's just perfect for me. I'm very chill. I like bluesy, chill.
Yeah.
I hear my music, the beaches of Ibiza, and so when I told him what I wanted, I let him do his thing without interfering, and he gave me exactly the sound that I wanted and that I've ever always dreamt of.
That's awesome.
So
And I always
him today
and I always ask people, like artists, it's like if they've never heard your music, or if you're explaining your sound, and I hate genres, right? Music to me is music, but what you kind of explained it like a little bit, like I'm like a cool vibe by the beach that's chill, like, but like how do you explain your music when people ask?
It's funny when you say the genres, because when you fill out paperwork and all these things, they ask you that. I'm like, what the fuck does this really even mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not a rapper. I'm not and to me, I feel the same way. Music is music. It doesn't need to be placed in one category, but I don't know. I really am still getting used to like trying to explain this to people so where they understand. I can tell you that when and if I perform, I'm having a mariachi group with a DJ. So that's me.
That's a unique combo too, like different sounds. Yeah. And also getting back to the genre, right? Like, I'm not the biggest rap person, but saying that I don't like rap is not true, because there's songs and artists within the rap genre that I like, right? So I think, and just going back to that combination, that like I'm imagining that sound live, and it's so, I love when artists bring together different instruments and different sounds that you would never combo together, just to create a unique experience live and a unique sound.
It's when I released I think you heard Yo Me Vuelvo Loca, and then there was the Facebook song. The Facebook song, Jens and I wrote it right when Facebook first started. We wrote this song, and we thought it was hysterical. And then it sat there, and he's like, "Let's just mix it." And I said, "Okay, fine." And he did, and it sounded so badass to me. But it's funny because I got a lot. I got within just a few weeks, I got close to 200,000 streams, and which was, I guess, I don't know what any of this means, if I'm being honest with you. I just do it because I love it, but everyone's like, that's pretty good. And like, I haven't even had the song out in a month. And then so what was I saying? I'm sorry, I got lost in the story.
Well, just the combination of the mariachi band and DJ and
and it's to me, that's just how I see. That's just me. I love like when the DJs are really playing and that albums are going and everything's spinning and you're moving and grooving, and then throwing some mariachi sound. To me, that's like heaven. That's my world. That's awesome. I really am, happy with myself. Oh, so I was saying, I had put up the Facebook song, and the criticism I was getting was, it doesn't match. The music doesn't match the words, or the music doesn't this or that. And I'm like, you're not getting it. Like, it's not, my music isn't supposed to be perfect. And my music is going to take you on a journey. If you sit there and vibe with it, close your eyes, you're going on a journey, and all my music will do that for you.
That's awesome. And I think, that's what makes music unique. And for the people that create it, it's like hearing you talk about the recording of it. If you feel good about it, then you feel good putting it out into the world to other people. And I've heard so many artists and even local bands be like, well, we like it, You know, like they wrote it, they like it. If the audiences don't like it, so be it. I wrote it for me, you know. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And um, you know, just to wrap up, one of the things about the show is, you know, what's your musical story? I mean, it sounds like you could write a book about your experiences being on tour with your uncles and father, right? But do you have a really unique, interesting story around music that you can share or tell?
I have nothing that's, no, I really don't. I just, grew up with it. Music was just, I mean, our life, my life became my life because of my father. My father passed away at 58, and I have his music. There's some songs that I want to redo that he wrote, and no,
Did
there's
he
just,
did he ever record them, or he just
oh
wrote it?
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah. He did, and there's some really cool stuff there that I think I could play with and really just make it my own. And so that's a goal. I'm going to be, again, I'll start my new album next year. Wherever Jens is, I'll follow him.
Well, and also a lot of people don't go to Berlin to record their first album, so
Yeah,
that's a pretty cool experience in itself.
yeah. I had never been, and it was dope. I gotta honestly say, with Jens Gad from Enigma and in Berlin, my friend from Rome came in for a few days. We had some fun. I got another job while I was there. Got to go to Hamburg. I mean, that was like a dream. I had tears when I
Right.
heard my album. I just having the support and love of my husband. I know a lot of people say, "Well, I don't need anyone," but look, it's hard enough out there, and having the love and support of my husband. I told him one day, I was like, I think I want to sing. And he goes, okay, well, why don't you? And I was like, I called up Jens. He found me a producer in LA, and I wrote Yo Me Vuelvo Loca with a Grammy Award winner. And she and I became good friends, and I recorded the song. And I was like, well, shit, now I can't stop. I got to
Right.
do more. How do I get this done?
Well,
And then out of nowhere, Jens tells me to go to Berlin.
yeah, I was gonna say you don't seem like someone that would just be doing something half-ass. And you know what I was thinking when you were talking is, if you have a creative idea, if you have something in that needs to get out, just do it. And it's awesome that your husband was like, go do it, because there's so many people that don't, like,
Yeah.
that don't express themselves creatively. And um it's a release, you know, from the struggles of modern world, and to be able to create something and work with people that you trust is really amazing. So
Yeah.
um I appreciate you having on. You're my first guest from Las Vegas. So Yvette Lopez, everyone Google her, and I will be sharing links and your website and as much music as possibly that I can, and looking forward to more music coming from you.
I know, I'm excited for the next one too. I'm like, I don't want to wait 2 days, but I got to wait a couple days. And then, yeah, it'll be, the song is called Relax, and it's pretty, it's cool because what I'm doing is I'm finding artists to work with that also need to be known. And so I'm, instead of me being in all the videos, I'm actually using other artists that can put some cool shit together for me.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
Yvette Lopez, thank you so much.
Thank you.